support of Eating Disorder Awareness Week this year, I've decided to come on and share a little bit about my story of recovery. And the theme this year is eating disorders can't wait, or that, that it's a pressing issue and it's not something that we can continue to ignore or kind of push back. Eating disorders affect millions of people in our country, and they don't just affect the individual experiencing the eating disorder. They affect everyone around them as well. So this is a big issue. And one of the things that has become really, really important to me is sharing my story of recovery and what helped me get through that final hurdle, I guess you could say, that part of the eating disorder that was so embedded in my psyche that I had little hope that it would ever go away. And for me, that aspect of it was very much the mental piece of it, the obsession with needing to lose weight. And I don't fault myself for that as an individual. I don't think that that's something that's unique to people that have eating disorders. It's such a prevalent message in our culture that we have to shrink ourselves in order to be a good person. And inherent in that is fat phobia. And people are marginalized because of the size of their bodies. And when I woke up to that truth, when I realized that what I was believing to be true about myself and my body and other people and their bodies was rooted in this, it dates back to racism. That's where this Eurocentric beauty ideal came from in North America. But when I realized that at the root of this eating disorder, the very message that keeps it stuck is a message that makes me a bigot if I believe it. That's not an easy thing to admit. And I think, but recognizing that and saying, you know what? My values as an individual, my values as a person, I value integrity, I value compassion, and equality and love. I believe that love can really heal and transform. And if I'm operating from this foundational belief that puts some people under other people based on the size of their body, I can't consider myself to be a person living in integrity. And I'm not a good person if that's what I believe either. And when my confidence about myself rests on the back of somebody else's oppression, it's BS. It's not true confidence. And so what's become extremely important to me is creating conversations to support us to let go of that belief that we have to shrink ourselves, that we have to be smaller in order to be considered a good person. I know for me, there was many things that I was like, oh, I'll do that when I'm thinner. I can't do that yet because I haven't lost enough weight. All these messages that kept going through my mind that I just accepted as the way that it is. I didn't realize that there was another way to think. And the truth is, there's absolutely another way to think. We don't have to shrink ourselves. We don't have to go on a diet and restrict ourselves and deprive ourselves of all of the things that enrich and nourish us in our lifetime. I was thinking about this yesterday and I was like, what is that? How would I describe my life in recovery? And the first time I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, the two words that come to mind are chasing pleasure. And pleasure was not a word that I was even comfortable saying before. But now I honestly feel like that is what recovery is about for me. That now that I'm free of this idea that I have to diet in any way, shape, or form, I recognize all of the other ways that I was restricting myself in my life. I was corseted, you know? I was trying to fit into this idea of what I thought a good woman is. And quiet and, basically checking off all the boxes, like have a career, have a family, and have good values, and eat whole nutritious foods, and all of these things that I just thought that like that's what I need to be in order to be a successful woman. And now it's like I want to go on bike rides. I want to create, especially with my hands. I'm learning more and more how important music is to me. I'm still kind of in the process of allowing the music to move through me, but listening to music at the very least is something that it just makes me feel so alive. And again, that's pleasure, right? And even food now. I feel pleasure from food. I enjoy making it. I enjoy the science and creativity of cooking. Like all of these things that weren't available to me when I was stuck in this disordered life. And what I want to say is that there's hope. There's hope that we can recover, and we do recover. One of the things that I found extremely important in recovery is surrounding myself with people that are also willing to let go of the idea that we need to shrink ourselves in order to be healthy, happy, empowered women. And in fact, surrounding myself with women that were actually able to and willing to take a look at those beliefs and acknowledge the fact that they too were participating in oppressing other women, other humans, based on the size of their body, and passing judgment on people based on the size of their body. When they're willing to look at that and have conversation and support one another to let go of that, that has been extremely powerful. And that's one of the reasons that I started a Body Liberation Book Club this year, because that brings women together to have these important conversations and let go of this obsession that we have in our culture with shrinking ourselves, with silencing ourselves. And eating disorders, they're complex. I get that. And I know that there was a lot of things that came together to support me to reach recovery, period. But this is the piece that I found to be the most important. And this piece wasn't offered to me in eating disorder treatment. This piece was something that I had to search out, seek out, and find on my own. And what I want to do is I want to create more space for people seeking recovery to find this information, to participate in these conversations, because we can't wait. You know, that's the theme this year. We can't wait. If we want recovery, we have to move beyond the ideas and notions that solidify the eating disorder within us in the first place. So this Eating Disorder Awareness Week, I encourage you to do something to move your recovery forward. The theme is that eating disorders can't wait. That means your eating disorder can't wait either if you're struggling. And that might not be a full-fledged eating disorder. It could be just a disordered relationship with food in our body. I say just as though it's something like minimized. It's not at all. If you feel that you're anywhere on that spectrum of having a disordered relationship with food in your body, I encourage you to take one step this week. Whether it's picking up a book, making an appointment with a counselor or a dietitian, or going to treatment, or sharing with a friend, hey, I really want to make a change with this year. Whatever it is, I encourage you to do it. You deserve it. We all do.